You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 252.2, our Tipton County Sports Report with Michelle Garmon. Lots of coaching news in this one.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, Tipton County sports fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report here with Michelle Garmon, our new segment, the Tipton County Sports Report, and a lot of coaching news, Michelle, both at Tipton and Tri-Central. Let's start with what's going on. First of all, with Coach Hawkins and his health issues, and second of all, they have filled their boys basketball coaching position.
Yes, and their girls basketball coaching position. Coach Hawkins is doing well. Greg, I know you and I are anxiously we're going to get a segment set up to where we can talk to him and his wonderful, I know, and his wonderful kidney donor, Kira. I'm looking forward to it too. He still has some restrictions, that just comes because they got to protect the patients and make sure there's no organ rejection, but so far so good for him. I'm anxious to talk to him about this new path, about him getting the kidney and that process, and then this new path he's on about bringing awareness to organ donation and stuff. I'm anxious to get his take on Tipton's new boys basketball hire. I guess you might say they went 180 degrees, kind of away from what they have done in their recent hires. I have not met Tom. I haven't met the new boys basketball coach. The power that I was not Tipton High School or Tipton School did not let me know they were having a special meeting to make those hires on Monday night.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, I know, and they didn't send out a press release afterwards. They put it on Facebook, but we all know how Facebook works.
Yes.
It's not always
you
at
may
the top
see
of
it,
the
you
feed.
may not. That's right.
Right, and I'm not taking 20 minutes to scroll through to do it. They don't ever tag me or anything in their tweets, and part of that is I think they've hired, they're paying a company to do that. Well, that's nice. I mean, you get great graphics and everything, but here's the bad part. By doing it that way and not tweeting at your local media, you don't get as much coverage either.
Ridiculous.
Pardon? It is ridiculous. I mean, I love it when we are tagged up. Great, we've got some coaches that are doing a good job of that, and ADs, Ryan Van Skyhock is one that is really good about tagging. The Frankton coaches and people are great about tagging us or texting or emailing us.
Elwood and Frankton set the standard when it comes to communication with the media.
Yes.
Them and Kurt Ogden at Hamilton Heights. He's pretty good too about sending out emails. But to get back to Tipton, they hired Tommy Newton. I believe he was an assistant. Gosh, I can't remember if it was Edinburgh or Edgewood. Isn't that terrible? They're just so close together.
It was
when
at
you go to
Edgewood,
Sam.
Michelle.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
Great program.
But I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm happy for it. He and his wife she is going to have their first child, I guess, soon. Like in a handful of weeks. It'll be interesting. Like I said, because they didn't make me aware and nobody gave me a heads up, and they haven't even sent anything out as far as the contact information or any background on him. Like I said, I am not, Tipton's the home base, but their level of communication is not
Needs to improve.
really. It needs to improve very much so. And used to always, I guess, what's still disheartening is I used to get it, and I mean Corey used to might text me and or email and call me and give me a heads up. I know he's done at the end of the school year. I think he's tired. I think he's kind of ready for it. And because he's going out, I really don't know how much input he had in this choice or, this selection. So I'm anxious to talk to him. It's on my agenda. I plan on trying to get a contact number for him tomorrow so I can talk to him, and looking forward to hearing some of his background, and what he has planned. Like I said, it's Tipton is a tough Tipton is a tough community to come into. They're used to win. I mean, Tipton is used to winning. They don't like not winning, especially in basketball. It's going to be interesting. And I know it's very different in today's day and age. I think it's very difficult to coach. So it like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. How he's going to set up things. How soon? I'm gonna guess probably not till the end of the school year, which it really isn't that far away. Will he get here? But I want to swing over. Let's swing over to the new girls basketball coach at Tipton, because Greg, you and I know him. I've known him for years.
Yeah, he's the
You've gotten to
best.
know him really well through the
Yeah.
podcast. He is Jason Bales, and I can't say how happy and excited I am for him. This is a kid that has always just wanted to be a varsity basketball coach. I met Jason when he was a player for Tri-Central High School, when he was on the team. And, he went to Ball State, and then he started coaching, started at the 6th grade level at Tri-Central, which is where he graduated from. He was great. He wanted to send, and this was back before, you could text or anything. And if he could email it, he would email it to me. But if, say, he was between classes, he might call it in to me, and he loved just to talk basketball. And I bet we might spend 20 to 30 minutes on the phone. If I knew he was calling, I tried to have as much done as I could before he called, because I
Right.
knew he just, it
Yeah.
was great though. I mean, he
Yes.
was young, and I had started coaching 6th grade basketball, and in it, he knew I was. We just shared a lot of information. He did a lot of scouting. I got to be, really got to know Jason well. I've always told somebody, I said he's kind of like a little brother or like another one of my nephews. He's like family to me. He was an assistant coach in the Tipton's girls program, and at the high school level, JV, and then varsity assistant. And he was good. He was on the staff when Tipton went to the semi-state in 2014. Then when Coach Comer resigned, that's when they brought in Chad Wetz, and they didn't. I think Jason wanted it, but they didn't give it to him at that time. He didn't get it. He stepped away, but then he was named the coach at Tri-Central, and he took the Lady Trojans to a semi-state. That's his passion, is that he's been Tipton's girls golf coach for a lot of years. And the one thing about Jason is you can't say that he doesn't put a lot of work in and prepare. He's very well organized. I did a feature on him a couple summers ago, and I called him the Jason of all, like the Jason of all trades,
Nice.
because
Yeah.
everything he does, the coaching, and we know he's also now the president pro tem of the High School Golf Association. He's just a really good guy. I'm very happy for him. I'm glad that he's the head coach, and I'll tell you, he's got daughters that will be coming up into the program. He knows what this program has. He was in the boys. He came back over to the girls program so he could try to help Leela build the program. And then when they decided to go in a different direction from her, which I'll say it on record again, I'm probably not making some friends at Tipton, but I thought it was kind of harsh with her, because they didn't really give her a reason. It's your choice when you employ someone, and when you're an employee of someone, they have that right if they want to go in a different direction. But I also believe it's called common courtesy and professional to tell them why, and to give them a little bit of a notice ahead of time. Hey, we've got some concerns. These are areas we'd like to see you, address. Them not bringing her back as a coach and doing it the way they did, they lost a good teacher. She's a second grade teacher at Tipton, but this will be her last. She's done in May, and she's going to Sheridan. She's going to go teach, I believe, 5th grade at Sheridan, and she's going to join Jadlyn Bradshaw's staff.
Well, that'll be good for her.
You know, it will be good for her. It'll get her out of Tipton. I mean, that's probably the only thing, you know, Leela, she loves Tipton. I mean, and she wanted to come back and make an impact in the community and give back, you know, that she felt was so good, has been good to her and her family. But it will be good. I think sometimes, I've always said this, I think sometimes you need to go away or go outside and experience some and come back if that's what you really want to do, because people do things differently, and just to get an outside perspective is not a bad thing. But Jason is the right guy. He knows the program needs to be built. When he came back with Leela, he has been, you know, he was working high school, but he would go down and help coach the middle school and take the young kids in the fall, you know, to fall leagues. He knows what it takes. He has a plan. You know, he has a plan to get them where they need to go, and I believe he will. And I think it's a great hire. I'm so excited for him. He's passionate, and you know that. You've seen it the way he is with his golfers.
Very few coaches.
Work hard.
Very few coaches took to the Central Indiana Sports Report like he did. In fact, he might be our most live on air guest of all of our coaches.
Yeah, and I mean, he's always made, you know, he's made time for, like I said, he knows how to budget his time.
Yes, he does.
He's made time for us. He's great at promoting his kids. He's a wonderful teacher. You know, he cares about every student, and just a great guy. You know, I think I've said this before. My niece had never played golf before. Jason's first year, they were short players. He asked, and so he said, just come out and try it. So she came out, played played 3 holes, and a couple of days later, she's playing golf for him, and they never played before. She's using old clubs, and then my dad, he went out and bought her a set and brought it to her. But she'll tell you she played for Coach Bales. She played because of.
He's the kind of guy you want to build your program, and he will get the job done.
I'm glad. I think the girls program is going in a really good, you know, a really good place.
And Michelle, Tri-Central has a new head football coach.
They do. Former defensive coordinator at Northwestern High School. If we had planned this a little better, we probably should have asked Caleb Small to be on our podcast with us so he could tell Tri-Central exactly what to expect and exactly, you know, the kind of guy that Coach Hagan is.
Well, let's work on that. We'll have to work on that, Michelle.
Yeah, and maybe then Caleb can, you know, and I don't have Coach Hagan's number yet. I did a little story because Andy Steele, the athletic director at Tri-Central, he sent me a photo, and he sent me a typed up press release, you know, a little story press release, which I got in the paper. He did it the morning after the first thing the morning after that board meeting, which I greatly appreciated. And because I think their board meeting was on a Monday, he did it on Tuesday, so I was actually able then to get it in, you know, in our paper. He wanted us to be able to do that. Again, I appreciate that. Hint to athletic directors, is always nice when treat your media well, especially if you know if they like to you know, get things publicized. So
that's right. It's not because of us. It's because we again are a medium to the people. So they need to do that.
Yes, I'll tell our listeners now. I will get something here online about our new high school hire, the Tipton High School hires, when things like the, you know, this summer after spring sports season starts to die down.
We'll look forward to that.
I think it's great because it's somebody in the area, and I think it's great because it's somebody in the area who's familiar with the area, and and I don't mean this because I think Shane did a wonderful job. Obviously, George Gilbert did a wonderful job. He took Tri-Central to a state championship. But I think sometimes when a coach comes and says, "Hey guys, that's just not good enough," or maybe it helps a little bit because he's coached some, been a part of some programs where you've coached some athletes that have attained success, and then he says that, "Hey, this is how we did it." We've talked about this before. I think people in small communities, you can have an outstanding athlete, you can have an outstanding player, no matter what sport it is. But until you go and you watch some of these players and some of these teams that are in upper, higher classes, you don't really realize, I don't think, that there's a lot of talented players in this state.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of which, where is Coach Arnold now, Michelle?
Coach Arnold is at Anderson High School. He took that job, and I think for him, it's great. Shane likes challenges, and
It's going to be a challenge.
it is going to be a challenge. He's excited about it. He's excited about the kids, and for Shane, I'm kind of excited because his offense, because he was the offensive coordinator when Tri-Central won that state and everything, it's really predicated on being able to have some really nice athletes. And the one thing about Tri-Central, no offense, Tipton's the same way, Elwood's the same way, Franklin's the same way. Greg, we know it, small communities, that stuff can be secular. You're not going to have great athletes. It comes and it goes. You're not going to have great athletes every year like Carmel and Fishers and Southeastern. Right. You're just not. You're not big enough to do that. So, but Anderson is bigger, and and they've got some good athletes, and I think he really wants to. He's looking forward to that, and he said there's a couple of kids that are looking forward to it. They've already got playbooks and are meeting with him, excited, going over things. They're excited about the change, and he hadn't settled on his staff, but I know he was planning on taking some coaches with him if they wanted to go, but keeping some of assistant coaches that had been at Anderson.
Thanks so much to Michelle for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. Once again, I say it every time because it's true. She is the best. And thank you for listening. If you enjoy the Central Indiana Sports Report, please share it with your friends and family so we continue to grow and thrive. The Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media. And I love Susie.